All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Saturday, March 30th. You got a 3-game NBA slate to dive into in today's video, like we always do. We go through each and every one of these games, so all 3 of them. I'm going to give you my lean on the spread. I'll give you my lean on the total. We'll talk about any player props that I like within the game as well. But as always, make sure to keep an eye on that pinned comment. I'm going to put my final plays down there. If you want to fade me and do the opposite, be my guest. Last night was not a very fadeable night from an MLB perspective. We had a 6-0 sweep. We brought up the money gun, and then we were very close in the NBA slate as well. We go 5-1 last night. Unfortunately, Paul George does not come through for us with that 25.5 points plus rebounds. I loved Paul George in that spot. Didn't necessarily come through for us. But again, a 5-1 night. We'll take the applause. We'll take the money be made. I cannot be grumpy over a 5-1 night, but that sweep was so in sight, wasn't it? Close enough at least. Now the vibes do have to take a turn for the worse here as we drop the womp womp on Ant. The ride of the day was a parlay. I thought, it's Friday. Let's take the flyer here. A plus 406 parlay. Ant dug up here. It was Terrence Mann over 0.5 threes. That cashes. Draymond Green under 0.5 threes. That cashes. Kyle Kuzma does cardio for 37 minutes, and he does not cash his over. Would have been a great parlay and put Ant into the legendary status for the ride of the day, but unfortunately it does not come through. But that was a good attempt for plus 406 parlay. If you guys don't know what the ride of the day is, all you got to use is that hashtag ride of the day in the comments. Give me some players, give me some plays, and I'll be jumping on board with one person's pick, giving you a shout out in the next video, win or loss. Also shouting you out over on my social media. Make sure to follow me over on Instagram at evpicks, as well as at evguyboston over on Twitter. All of those will be in the pinned comment and in the description as well, so make sure to keep an eye on that. But yeah, use those hashtag ride of the days in the comments. Now hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, buckle up. Let's talk some basketball. We got New Orleans taking on Boston in this spot. I do think that the Celtics are the better team. That should not be, groundbreaking to anybody. They're relatively healthy here too, whereas New Orleans still going to be without Brendan Ingram. Boston really needs a get-right spot here. They were 17.5 point favorites against Atlanta, lose that game outright. The game prior, they're up by 1,000,000 points. My Boston Celtics, they blow it and lose that game. So this should be a spot in which they say, okay, let's turn things around. I don't necessarily think that this is a good spot for them per se, but 6 points, if they hadn't dropped those previous 2 games, I think you're looking at the Celtics as like road favorites of 8.5 or something like that. So I really don't mind taking them as 6-point favorites here. Last time these 2 teams played was in January. Celtics in Boston won by 6, 118-112. And New Orleans, I know they've been playing really well, but they have some bad teams thrown in the mix there. The good teams, the teams that they've been losing to, now they beat Milwaukee. I'll give them credit for that one, but OKC they lost to, Orlando they lost to even Cleveland, who was a beaten and bruised. Some of their wins include Portland, Brooklyn, Detroit, Atlanta. Like, they're playing good basketball, but I think that's going to be their biggest test in a little bit here. So give me the Celtics in this spot. In terms of a total, I can't help but take a peek at the over. The way the Celtics are playing basketball right now, yes, they've lost 2 straight games, but they're almost giving you 120 religiously, and I know that this is going to be a tough defense that they play against, but again, they played this defense earlier in the year and dropped 118 on them. So if they score 120, I do think the Pelicans keep this game somewhat close, and we kind of cruise to an over here in this spot. Now, from a player prop perspective, Derek White's over in rebounds is appealing to me. He's hit that 9 of his last 10. He's getting 10.5 rebound chances per game, and his line's over 4.5, 4+ money. What I don't like is how good New Orleans is rebounding, right? Like, they'll probably hurt him rebounding the ball, but this I was going to say this Red Sox, this Celtics team, definitely kind of the better rebounding team right now, so maybe more rebound chances come his way at a higher percentage. So Derek White over 4.5 rebounds. Again, look at the green over on Outlier here, and for plus money, we're talking about a plus 120 on DraftKings and Caesars and BetMGM. But again, 10.5 rebound chances. He had 12 rebound chances, 7 rebounds last game. The one concern is he hasn't done it against New Orleans, but he's not getting the same amount of rebound chances. This is kind kind of a new-ish thing when you look to where his chances started, about 12, 13 games ago. So hoping that continues, hoping the minutes continue for him. And he's such a crucial piece to this Celtics team playing well. I think that he's going to be involved today. So that's one spot there. Another spot could be taking a peek at Herb Jones to some degree, because I do think these sort of ancillary guys, like the defensive guys that all of a sudden make big shots and whatnot, I do think can kind of kill the Celtics, because the Celtics will focus on CJ McCollum. They'll focus on Zion Williamson, that type of thing. I do think, taking someone like Herb Jones, who had, I think, earlier, last time he played the Celtics, just barely came up under this line, taking him for like 9.5 over points, that type of thing too, could be a spot. But nonetheless, CJ McCollum, Derek White, definitely my favorite player prop in this game. But if you are going to check out this game from a player prop perspective, you may want to check it out over on Sleeper, because they do have a free square player prop here for Zion. I know I said the Celtics may give Zion some trouble, but I still think he's going to score 1 point. So if you want to take advantage of this square and get your first deposit doubled, go ahead and check out Sleeper. That link will be in the pinned comment, guys. I love Sleeper. I talk about it all the time. Make sure to go check it out. If it's available to you and you're not doing it, you're sleeping, wake up, go check out Sleeper. Seriously, guys. But let's move on to the next game here. Next up, we have Orlando taking on Memphis. This is really, out of the 3 games we have today, my least favorite by a landslide. I guess I'll lean towards Orlando because I'm not trusting Memphis whatsoever, but 13 points is a hell of a lot to lay here. Memphis is actually, if you go back 10 games and gave them a 13-point spread in all of those games, they would have covered in 7 of those last 10. So little worrisome there to me, but I really just can't get behind them and I can't trust them. So I'll lean towards Orlando, who definitely kind of in a get-right spot now. They lost to Sacramento, Golden State, the Clippers. This comes at a very good time for them to be able to just punch down and hopefully, get this win and kind of really secure like a big dub. In terms of a total, I'm going to lean towards the over. This is an Orlando team on a back-to-back, so I do think that their defense may lack a little bit. Orlando on back-to-backs this season have covered the over in over 58% of their games. So I like that stat there. And coming from a rest perspective here, as Memphis is, they actually hit the over in 56% of their games when they have a rest advantage over their opponents. So kind of the stars aligning for this one. I'll take the over as well. And like I said, it's not my favorite spot, so no real player prop considerations in this one for me, to be completely honest. All right, so this spread kind of surprised me at first. Right now, it's Atlanta taking on Milwaukee. Atlanta at home getting just 3.5 points. Damian Lillard is ruled out in this spot. Giannis is on the injury report as well, as is Chris Middleton, and as is Lillard's backup, Pat Bev. So we do want to keep an eye on that injury report. Looks like Jalen Johnson's game time decision coming back here for Atlanta. So keep an eye on this injury report, but assuming anyone that's listed as questionable plays, I like Milwaukee minus the points here, even without Damian Lillard. Do I think that that's going to be a big loss? Yes, no kidding, but I do think that, this Milwaukee team that, like I keep saying, and maybe I'm going to be wrong because they've lost 2 straight games, but they're going to try and gear up as the season ends to really kind of head into the season, the postseason in full swing. Now, Atlanta's won 4 games. They've covered 4 games in a row. They're getting huge numbers, but again, they've won these games outright, right? The one thing that I'll take back is the sample size is small, 1, and then 2, the one thing I'll take back, 1 and 2. Charlotte is one of the wins. Portland's one of the wins. And then 2, freak games against the Celtics in a sense. So really, I haven't seen much consistency out of Atlanta. So if Giannis plays, that's what I'll say. I'll go with Milwaukee here minus the points. In terms of a total sitting at 235, 223.5. I don't know why I said 235. It's a little too low. So I'm going to lean towards the over as well. I do think that, all 3 of these games could go over today. Now, from a player prop perspective here, it's a Milwaukee team that has really struggled in the paint defensively right at the rim. So I don't mind taking a peek at Clint Capella over 11.5 points. He hasn't fared all that well against Milwaukee in the past. 2 of his last 3 he did hit the over, but in a 5-game sample size, he's only hit it in 2 of his last 5. But I do like him to be able to have a decent amount of field goal attempts. He's averaging 10 field goal attempts per game against Milwaukee over those last 5, and he's averaging 10 field goal attempts per game right now. So if he gets his flat of 10, I do think they're going to be high percentage shots against a team that struggles at defending the rim like Milwaukee here. So I don't mind that spot. I also don't mind taking a peek at Bogdanovich or Murray, any of these above the break 3 guys. This is a Milwaukee team that definitely, as of right now, struggles against the 3 ball. So I think, let's see what we have. Pulling it up on Outlier right now. A line for 3 is going to be 2.5 for Bogdanovich, and then Murray, I'm assuming, is going to be right around the same, but I do think that these guys could be in a good position to shoot a decent quantity. So So keep an eye on the pinned comment for those and any added plays as well. So now when we have MLB and NBA going at the same time, we have the same amount of time in the day, right? So we're really trying to dedicate time independently to both for research. So we may come up with stuff that doesn't make it into the video. That's why it's important to follow me on Twitter and Instagram in case you see some additional content that gives context to our final plays. But guys, that is going to wrap it up for today's show. If you guys did enjoy, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Hell, comment 10 because you made it to the end of the video. Let me know that you're not a guppy, you're part of the Fade Squad and a real one for rocking with me. So hope you guys did enjoy, like I said. We'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.